20 years in the making. We've reached the day where the Southern Sting reunion game is to be played this afternoon in front of what will be, I'm guessing, by the time this afternoon rolls around, a sold-out crowd in Invercargill. There are still some tickets floating around this morning for those of you that are keen to get along. Snap them up. I'd be there nice and early, though, because I think, like the good old days, they're going to be lined up out the door before the gates open this afternoon. Now, last Monday, down at the stadium, I ran into this former Sting player in Silver Ferns. She was down on Sky Sport duties, of course, ahead of the Steel Tactics game. Belinda Colling's our guest now on the All Sports Breakfast. You were getting a few shots up before the game, Bill. It looks like you've still got it, mate.
Oh, you're being generous.
Look, class is permanent.
First time I touched a netball for a while, so I think Leslie Murdoch actually got just as many in as I did, and fingers crossed really for this afternoon.
Any who's going to play goal attack? And I think everyone's putting their hand up to play goal shoot. I don't know whether too many people want to be out roaming around mid court, do they, this afternoon?
Those of you that would know Donna Wilkins well will know that she'll be calling all the shots, and I'm quite glad about that really, because I'm quite happy to just have limited time, and I know that she probably won't want to spend much time on the sideline, and has got the competitive edge. The emails that have been coming with game plans and things like that, I'm a little bit frightened because I think she's taking it far more serious than I am. But yeah, her competitive nature is coming through strong. I think she even wants to play centre, so we'll see what happens.
Good stuff. I mean, you must be looking forward to it, though, to get back together, and I guess and that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? You know, 20 years has sort of gone past in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's so great to, have the opportunity to catch up with everybody, and, bit of banter going around already. I don't know why the game has to happen, really, but... I'm hoping too many people are not going to be too disappointed, and maybe they might just want to close their eyes and think it was 20 years ago rather than see the spectacle out on court. But I do know some of the girls are still playing. I'm not. Nat Avelino was telling me she still plays on Saturday, so maybe keep your eye on her. But it's great to catch up and reminisce and talk about the good old days, and I think through netball that's one of the things that you always treasure, all the friendships that you make and all those good experiences that you have, and that's definitely been a huge part of the Sting.
We chatted with Lee Piper this time last week, actually, on the show, and he made the point that actually getting your signature was one of the harder ones that he had to get, so that's one thing. But second, and it also made him probably, I think, confirmed him, I should say, as the most hated man in New Zealand netball, north of about Balclutha. To wind us back to that time and the decision, I guess, for you, as a pretty entrenched from a Canterbury point of view in those days to actually make the trip south.
Yeah, well, I sort of remember those conversations. I was actually living in Scotland at that time. I'd sort of taken a break from netball and had my first child, and was living in Edinburgh with my husband who was over there playing rugby, and the phone call sort of came. It took me by surprise, actually, for those reasons as well. And it kind of sent me into, at that point I'd been over there looking after a baby, and it was kind of like, the opportunity to come back to New Zealand and play netball, and I couldn't turn it down really. So thought about it for a wee bit, and spoke to Rob from over there as well, and then decided to make the big move back with a baby, and leave Scotland and come back and give it a crack. So
fantastic stuff.
So long ago.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, let's bring it up to date a little bit and put your Sky Sport commentator's hat on, and from the 2018 version or incarnation in terms of the Southern Steel. If you talked to us 4 weeks ago, in fact, on this show, you'd have to say that things have changed a little bit from a Steel perspective. There's some real momentum in the campaign at the right end of the year in terms of what they've been able to roll out over the course of the last couple of 3 weeks, eh?
I've really enjoyed this season. I think there's some things that have come through this season I've loved, not just in the Steel, but through the whole competition. I love that it's more competitive. It's quite even this year, but a lot of youngsters. Finally, we're starting to see a whole heap of young talent come through and serious talent putting their hands up. The Pulse have got some great youngsters, Mystics, right throughout the country. And the Steel as well, Jen O'Connell, I think she's been just brilliant. She's, her first year in the competition, and it's players like that you've really seen mature through the competition as well. And, the Steel... I think they've had a couple of ups and downs, but I think you're right. I think they've come now towards the business end of the season. They've got, that sort of determined sort of edge to them at the moment. And obviously with Wendy calling her retirement, I think that gives them a little bit of something as well. But they've always been a team that... knows how to win. So I think that will put, and a lot of those players that have been involved in that team are in there. And so I think that really puts them in good stead as they head into the final series, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I hear you there. And it would be remiss not to mention the news from last night. And I know it's dropped in a hurry. We've heard nothing. And then bang, out it comes last night. Janine Southby resigns, in air quotes. But she has moved on. There's now a vacancy, obviously, there. Reviews come out. And, of course, we're in the process, I guess, of digging all that through. It paints, as you would expect, a pretty rugged picture in terms of how that campaign went off the rails, particularly at the Commonwealth Games. I mean, it had to happen, didn't it? We've now got to this point, and I suppose it's now a question of where to from here from a Ferns perspective.
Yeah, well, I think I heard Jenny May Covan's interview last night and sort of saying it was inevitable, and I think, a lot of people sense that, that Janine's staying on would not probably be the case. And for me, it's also about everything else that came out in the review, and I've had a brief read through it, and some of it, it's not surprising, but some of it, was fairly interesting. And, there's a lot to tidy up. And there's been some good things. I like that one of the recommendations is that the New Zealand A is re-established. I think now that we've got some, that all those youngsters coming through, I think that's going to be a really good one for experience. So I think it's kind of that let's just get on with it attitude. It hasn't been great. And it wasn't just one person at fault. I think through the review you could read that there were multi-layers of things that had gone wrong. And these were all really good people who, worked really hard, but, sport sometimes just things don't quite go your way. And I'm sure the old saying, everyone will get a lot of learning out of it, but it's just how quickly now Netball New Zealand can turn things around, get someone in charge and, move forward. You've
been getting Olene in charge?
Yeah, well, obviously her name's been, she's the obvious, by a country mile from the talk around the town. I don't know if there's anyone else that's putting their hand up. I think that'd be a brave person, probably. But yeah, I think she's the obvious choice. Whether, she's obviously been, aware of what's going on over the other side of the ditch. It's just the timing of things, perhaps, for her.
Well, I've got Coach Broughton on after 8 o'clock. Maybe I should pop the question there.
Is she putting her hand up?
Well, I don't. No, I think I know that answer. To be fair, I think I know. Now, so talk me through pre-game preparation. What's the plan?
Oh my Lord, listeners, I'm told probably from Wilkins, and just try to survive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have to have a Powerade or something, and
something
there'll
stronger.
Be a lot
perhaps.
of. Yeah. I've had to find the knee braces, the ankle braces, and I'm just trying to get through without pulling a muscle. Really.
Looking forward to it, mate. We'll catch you there, eh?
Cool, awesome.
Thanks for your time. Belinda Colling joining us. Some great insights there from the past and the current and the future.